Hey everyone, I wanted to pop in with some Ascension symptom updates. So these are happening after the solar flares, not just the solar eclipse, the solar flares. I mean, 2024 is a massive ball of fiery change. To use the solar flare analogy, these flares coming at us in right directly to the earth. Now, I already did a transmission on the solar flares, the codes, human design, neutrino streams. So I'm not going to repeat that here. Here, I want to talk about what may be going on with your physical body, with your mind, with your sense of motivation and purpose in order to support you through it, because it's not a bad thing. And having a context, like we say, ascension symptoms, instead of, devolution symptoms or total failure symptoms. No, that would be creating a context you don't want to live into. So the context we want to live into is how we are ascending, meaning in a physical body. This is the first time that people have been saying that we're ascending as a species in a physical body. So to me, that means we have the 5D awareness of who we really are, but we're living here in 3D, in this body. So we're having to negotiate the 5D, 3D, like unlike angelic beings or those who have crossed over, we are doing something different here on Earth. So what I've heard recently, and this has been just the last couple of days because of the solar flares, but there's an increase in emotional breakdown, feeling so many feels, so many emotions. And that could be triggered by an event or coming out of nowhere, or just that's the way you wake up. You could also be angry when you wake up. You could feel irritated, agitated. Remember, even in the gene keys, it teaches that agitation is part of the awakening process. It's like that washing machine, and it's just iron sharpens iron. The way that friction is part of the process of accepting the new. Because we think about it, we are programmed in an old way. Our brain, the substrate of our brain, the pathways, like I laugh sometimes when I go on a adventure and go to an old highway. And I'm like, the brain is like that old highway. It's functioning on an endocrine system that's tens of thousands of years old. It hasn't caught up to the fact that we don't make babies really young anymore. We live longer. Our hormonal system is still like we could get pregnant at 13 and we go into menopause, but we still live for decades later. That's not serving our humanity, our physicality. So we have to do things like take hormones or have birth control to mitigate that. And that's really what I'm talking about for this 3D moment. As we experience 3 days of solar flares, and it could be longer, but I heard 3 days. And I think that what's happening is that the symptoms are going to start becoming aware, more and more aware, and we get to more and more integrate the teachings of the new codes. So if we posit that the sun is the provider of 70% of the codes that activate our blueprint through neutrino streams, which are these subatomic particles that are said in the spiritual subtle body world to contain information. Now, science doesn't say that, but science doesn't say a lot of things because science is responding to the questions they're asking. They are probably not asking that question, or maybe some are, and they're not published, but that's the question. So what's the information contained? And according to the human design, this blueprint, this vehicle, your embodiment contains everything you need for ascension, for enlightenment. Isn't that cool? And it's your way. So like the 64 ways in the gene keys, it's your way. Not everyone has the same pathway to the same place. We have different pathways to the same mountaintop, let's say, to use that metaphor. So if on a given day, the neutrino stream has like 11 million bits of data at every nanosecond, and now we have X class solar flares, like 6 of them, and we haven't even had one of them in such a long time. We don't, and usually they're not directed at Earth. So all these anomalies are happening. And then we're just like bombarded with, let's say, I don't know, 1,000x, 10,000x, those bits of information. It stands to reason that my brain won't be able to handle that, and my body won't be able to handle that. It'll do its best. It can handle it because it is handling it. And there are symptoms, there are effects. If this kind of power can take out the solar power can take out grids of countries and knock out the electricity, and we're electromagnetic beings, then it can knock our electricity out. So we're really here to do our best with our physicality to increase our capacities. And we've been doing that through shadow work, through nervous system work, through trauma work. You think about how genius the collective consciousness is by putting all of those bodies of work into our awareness, and we then take it, and it's like a particle in a wave, right? We focus on it and it becomes this thing. And now everyone's aware of trauma, where we wouldn't be aware of it 20 years ago. We had no idea, or we weren't talking about it like we are now. So we get to trust. I mean, that's really the theme of it, because there's nothing you can do about it symptom-wise. If you feel depressed and you've lost the plot, if you feel overwhelmed, if you feel emotional, if you feel exhausted, then your job is to care for yourself. And don't layer on a problem where there isn't one. Meaning, I'm now going to make meaning that I am this way. I am not good enough. I should be doing this. Don't overlay it. If you overlay anything, overlay the story that, oh my goodness, I'm ascending. This is for me. This is rewiring my codes. And yeah, it's a lot. What does my body need? My context is, what do I need? And I'm going to give it to myself. I need a rest. I need to sit on Mother Earth. I need to take a walk. I need to take a bath. I need to be in connection and community. I need to pop on the call. Someone just said, I wasn't going to come to your call this morning, but I came on the call and I knew I needed to be here. You follow that. You follow that. You stop sabotaging yourself and you follow the things you need, because this is the moment that you've got to have the nourishment. And only you know what that kind of nourishment is. Soul nourishment, physical nourishment, in order to stay the course and let the information, it's going to seep into our subconscious, our unconscious. It's seeping into the collective. We may not even know what this is all about. We're going to live it. It's going to unfold. We're going to start clearing things probably a lot quicker. I will see this as a possibility. And why not? One of the things I heard in one of the channels that I just happened to randomly come up onto, she said, her guides told her, I think it was these blue beings, and I've never seen them, I don't know, but they told her that we will come to the place where we just know. So all the teachings, we just know them. Isn't that incredible? So remember, I was talking about that substrate, the old roads. This brain isn't going to have to travel that entire old road. It's going to be like superconducted to where it wants to go. Isn't that incredible to be superconducted? And it's possible already. I remember Reggie Ray was a student of Trungpa Rinpoche. And he said, the reason why I knew that Trungpa was my teacher is I walked into the room and I had a spiritual experience right there. And I knew all of his teachings right then and there. Now, that doesn't mean he didn't study under him and all the things, but he already had the gnosis, the embodied information. It was already there. So that makes studying the text a lot easier when you're coming from a place of already knowing it. So what if that is possible in the middle of, I don't feel well, I feel nauseated, I feel pissed, I lost the plot, I feel like life is meaningless. Yeah, okay, that's going to be there because we're bodies. So do what you need to do to shore up your brain. Take your 5-HTP, whatever it is that you know is going to help your brain and help your body, and allow the codes to activate your blueprint. And you're going to know, because you just know the clarity is, you're going to know, like, not for me, that's for me. And then you take action. And that's where I'm going to bump you over to the video on the solar flares. And I'm going to stop here. But I want to normalize these experiences. And, you know, we probably are going to have more, because Uranus is in Taurus, and that's the earthquake. And I think the earthquake is inner and outer. Everything is inner and outer, because things are shifting, and we're here to birth something new. So it's uncomfortable and it's exciting. So I send you love. I send you blessings. I send you deep, deep, deep care for your physical body as you go through these ascension symptoms. And I would really love to hear, what is it you're experiencing? And what is it that you're also aware of that's happening? Let's not pretend we don't know, because we're here to remember. See you on the next video.